Okay, so from here, I'm gonna start like this. If you want to face this right here. Yeah, so that I'm gonna start with the most basic, gonna back up a little bit more. So something very simple, gonna start from ground up. So what I like to do here is just kind of bring everything here, shoulder width. I'm gonna go on my heels and just work on pronating my feet out. 1, 2, 3, in, 2, 3. Out, 2, 3, in, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, in, 2, 3. Out, 2, 3, in, 2, 3. Every time you do it, try to use the pelvis, your thighs. What happened? What do you want? Never mind. So we're gonna continue on after this. I'm gonna have Amanda do her session after she can break down the extra things right now because we're just trying to do the warm up right now. So now we're gonna go onto our toes. Same idea. This time we're gonna go here, go out, and in. Out, and in. So really press through the floor, roll through, and again try to feel it through your hips. Here, try to keep it straight up. Here, strong to the center. And a couple more times. That's it. You can shake it out a little bit. Again, this is not going to be too technical. This is just something very just introductory, very simple. It's not meant to give you something in depth. I'm going to have Amanda do the more in-depth warm-up and stretching. This is just to kind of get your blood pumping and moving. It's not meant to give you anything sort of deep as far as like your static or stability or strength. And from here, I'm going to open up a little bit further out. I'm going to have my knees pointing slightly outward, not too much. And same thing with my ankles and my feet. They're going to be aligned. I'm going to take a little bit, it's a little bit of a sit, and then open up here through the pelvis. Sit, and then straight up through the pelvis. Sit, and through the pelvis. Again, we're not going to go for a deep squat. And here. So here, breathe in, breathe out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And every time you go up, push through more with your glutes. Use your butt cheeks to push in, and then send your pelvis to the front. One more time. Okay, good. Again, you can kind of just tap the floor a little bit. Kind of get the feet rolling through. Again, try not to do this with your feet. You can end up hurting your ankle really easily. You just kind of just shake it out a bit. Just kind of get the sensory feeling through the pads of your toes. Now from here, I'm gonna go into slight little knees. So here, as I go up, I'm gonna slightly shift my weight. Tap, tap, tap. 1, 2, tap, and 1, 2, tap, and 1, 2, tap, and 1, 2, tap. Right, so you don't have to go too much to the side. I'm gonna have like a little shift, right? A little bit of a sway to the right and to the left. reaching for the sky. Good. And from here, you kind of just shake it out. Like I see, told it's like the drummer boy. I just kind of go like this, bum, 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 like this, right? And then like I just wash my hands, just air dry them out, right? Now we're gonna go into this little side isolation here that we use in bachata sometimes. Hands out, right? It's like I'm trying to break up a fight, right? I can be like this. Lean to one side to grab one person, lean to the other side to grab the other person. Another way to think about it is like tug of war. Like you're in the center, and here. Again, you don't want to helicopter, which is this thing, and again, you don't want an airplane either like this. You want to make sure you have this stable here, that you're literally being pulled from one side to the other. If you have a mirror available, I would suggest trying to do this in front of a mirror. And if not, second best thing is to record yourself while you're doing it, and then rewatch it after. And and obviously the best thing would be to have someone there with you, like a coach or even a friend, just to kind of guide you through it. You can bring it inside here, right? Because by this time your arms may be getting tired. You may feel a bit shaky. Feeling a bit shaky, you can squat a little bit to kind of give you stability through the torso. But again, the squat is to give you stability, not for you to do this. Okay? And from here, once you kind of get the hang of it, your diaphragm through your pelvis, strength to the back, you can isolate. And this is how you get the 1, 2, 3, ba. 1, 2, 3, ba. All right, not going into our elbows and wrists. By this time, you should kind of start feeling the blood flow. You might feel like a slight plumpness to your body or to your hands, right? You might feel some warmth. As good, it's a good thing in general because that means you're getting blood flowing through what you're doing. We're gonna keep the elbows to our sides, not inside like chicken wings, not like a T-Rex, but just enough here, right? Like we're ready at a table. We're gonna bring it down, up and up. Right, so you're focusing on just keeping the elbows in small circles. You're making bigger circles with the wrists. Boom. Right, and like optional, you can, you know, open and close your hands. It's like you're grabbing something and then dropping it, in whatever order you want. Right, just nice circles here. Once you've done this a few times, you can reverse it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Right, and again, nice and gentle. It's not about speed. It's not about strength. It's about literally just warming up your body, getting the fluids in your joints moving. Because again, that's extremely important. Because yes, you may be strong and you may be used to certain movements, but if you don't have that fluid moving in your joints, you're gonna be more likely to hurt yourself or inflame an old injury. Okay, very good. And again, you can shake it out a bit. Do the drummer boy. Do the just wash my hands. And from here, I know Amanda's gonna get a little bit more into the shoulders, and this might be a repeat of what she's gonna do here. But we're gonna do something super simple. I like to do this. Again, we're gonna do this very slow. I usually don't teach this off the bat, but this can help. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna slightly keep it level. Take a deep breath, and then just let your lats be heavy. From here, once you kind of get that relaxed, I'm gonna put some pressure here down, and slightly go this way, and just like that, keep it level. And now I'm not looking down, not looking up. And just kind of let your head fall one way. Boom. Again, you're not gonna put a lot of pressure. Not gonna pull your head to one way a lot. It's just literally just like enough here. Boom. Just like a slight gentle pat. Once here, you can look down a little bit. Right. I'm not lurching over. I'm actually just like rotating to my right actually. So it's not really looking down. I'm to the side, rotating to the right. So that way tension is still on this part near the trap. Exactly. From here, look up a little bit and relax it. Now with the other side, same idea applies. Take a deep breath actually first. Relax it. Pat, right? Give yourself a little bit of a nudge of pat, so that way you on the muscle, not on the bone, not on your collarbone, not on the base of your spine. Here, on the side here, right? Once you kind of feel that muscle here, right? Then from here, keep a steady pressure. Again, slightly lean, like you're going, hey, what's over there? And keep this to your side. You don't want to do this with your shoulder, and you don't want to do this with your hands. Just kind of relax it. And just let the gravity of your own head against the trap of your body stretch. Once you're gonna have enough pressure here, again, not a lot, super gentle, just a little. That's it. If you feel again any sharp pain or any sudden warmness or weird tingling sensation, relax it and just don't do anything. Don't overstretch it. Just skip over this and we'll do something else. So from here, going down a little bit. Again, you're not really looking down. You're just leaning to the left, lean to one side, and then you actually look into your left. Now here, because I've been working all day building some things, I feel a slight little stretch, like almost like a little stiff pain. But because I know my own body and it's not like a sharp or a super hot pain, I'm gonna go through it. And instead of pulling so much, I'm actually gonna apply a little bit more pressure on the trap area. So the focus is not on the pulling or stretching from your neck, it's on the pressure on the trap. I'm gonna do little pulses, and I'll look away a little bit more. I'm gonna look up, and that's it. Right, and then again, that's pretty much again the most basic warm up. From now here, from toes up, you should have some warmth now. You should feel like a little bit of plumpness in your arms. If you're vascular like me, you'll have your veins kind of popping out a little bit. That's really normal. It means your body's starting to get warmed up. Doesn't mean it's fully warmed up, starting to get warmed up. So now I'm gonna pass it out to Amanda. I'm gonna switch some of the music, and then she's gonna do her warm up for this, okay?
I don't really care. You can keep the song. Whatever, it's fine. Hello guys. We're basically gonna do something similar, but we're gonna start from the head down because we're kind of warm. So we're gonna start with our head. We're gonna do forward, back movement. Ready for the music whenever. Lento. So we're just gonna follow along and we're gonna rock through this. We're gonna start with looking up and down. 5, 6, 7, down. Back. Look side, side. Left, right. Now we're gonna go side, side with our head. So we're gonna go like this. And like Jason said earlier, make sure you're not being too rough. This is a very gentle movement. We're gonna do a circle. 5, 6, 7, go. You're gonna look down, go to the side, back. One more time. Switch sides. 6, 7, other way. And we're gonna move to our shoulders. We're gonna bring them up and down. Just warming them up, nice and gentle. Now we're gonna do a shimmy with our shoulders. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, fast. Okay. We'll move to our chest. So I'm gonna show you. We're gonna bring our chest forward and back. We're gonna go forward, back. I'll break this down a little bit more later, but you want to make sure that your hips are not moving. You're not doing this. You're just doing the chest. And you should feel this in your lats back here and your chest. A couple more. Now we're going to go side, side. We're going to go this side, this side. Just like Jason did earlier, we're just going to do a repeat. One more time. Now we're going to do forward, side, back, side. So we're going to do forward, side, back, side, forward, side, back, side. Again, forward, side, back, side, go back, back, side, forward, side. We're doing that so we can feel on both sides. And now we're gonna do a circle. So we're gonna start, we're gonna go forward, side, back, side. Just the same movement, but instead of going to the side, we're gonna roll it together. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Forward, side, back, side. Forward, side, back, side. Forward, side, switch, sides, side. Forward, side, back, side. Forward, side, back, side. Forward, side, back, side. Forward, side, back. We're gonna shake it out, and the song's about to end, so we're just gonna wait for the next song, and we're gonna move to our hips. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so we're gonna do our hips forward and back. So basically, we're gonna squeeze our glutes, bend our knees a little bit, and we're gonna send it all the way forward as we can. The same thing with your back, but you don't want to throw it back. You want to make it nice and gentle. 5, 6, 7, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see I'm rolling through this movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You almost want to imagine like your belly button is eating itself. Like that. 2 more times. 6, 7, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're gonna move to our hips. Side, side. So for this one in particular, I want you guys to keep your legs straight. And we're just gonna send one leg up, one hip up, and the other one. And we're gonna achieve this by taking this rib cage and our hip and scrunching it together. 5, 6, slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm shifting my weight. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, go. Now we're gonna do a circle like we did the top, up top. So we're gonna go forward, side, back, side. And we're gonna keep our legs bent for this. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Forward, side, back, side. Forward, side, back, side. Forward, side, back, side. Forward, side, other way, back, side. We're gonna go back, back, side, forward, side, back, side, forward, side. One more time. We're gonna do it a little faster. 5, 6, 7, 8. Forward, side, back, side. Forward, side, back, side. Forward, side, back, side. Forward, side, back. Switch, back, back, side. Forward, side, back, side. Forward, side. Shake it out, and we're gonna quickly do a little warm up with our legs because Jason already went over it. So we're just gonna do like calf raises. So you're gonna come up and down. And you're gonna make sure you're using your calf to come up and down. We're gonna come up and down. Up and down. Try to do it as slow as possible so you can feel your muscles working. Another quick note, when you're coming up, you wanna come up straight over your feet. You don't wanna roll your ankle to the side. So imagine yourself coming up and down, not like this. Making sure you're using your legs. A couple more times. 6, 7, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This takes a lot of balance. It's a great exercise to work on at home. One more time. Shake it out. And to finish off, we're just gonna do some toe flicks. And I like to do this so you can feel it through your leg into your foot. So you're gonna take your foot and you're gonna brush it on the floor and flick out and point your toe as much as you can. Just waiting for some music. Cool. So I'm gonna do it from the front so you can see it. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. We're gonna switch. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Two more. And shake it out, and that is all for my workout, for my warm-up. So you guys should feel all warmed up from your legs up to your top, into your head. So we're gonna move into, now we're gonna break down a little bit more of our shoulders and our chest so we can feel our back when we're doing movements. So I'm gonna start with, we're gonna break down a movement into 4 sections. So we're gonna break it down to forward, up, side, down. I want you guys to focus on hitting those 4 steps because the next thing we're gonna work on is a more fluid motion. So it's a different movement. But first, let's just work on this. So we're gonna go forward and back. You wanna imagine like you're holding like a bucket of water or something. And you're gonna go forward and back. As much as you can. You wanna do this movement nice and soft so you don't hurt yourself. Nice and controlled. Now when you're doing this movement, make sure that this chest isn't moving. Make sure that you're not doing this. You're just isolating this shoulder. So even if it looks like a very small movement, that's because it is. It's just your shoulder. Keep going, guys. Next, we're gonna do up and down. So we're gonna come up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Now we're gonna take the up and down and we're gonna go forward, up, back, down. We're gonna do this square. Ready? 5, 6, 7, go. Forward, come up. We're gonna go back and down. Here we go. Forward, up, back, down. Again, forward, up, back, down. And the reason why I'm doing this, because we're ultimately going to move into our shoulder rolls, is I want our shoulders to be nice and ready. I want them to be warmed up. So this is how I like to warm up my shoulders. So let's move on to the other shoulder. We're going to do the same exact exercises. So we're going to do the forward and back and up and down. Then we're going to do the square, and then we'll move into the circles. So ready? We're going to go forward and back. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Make sure your back, you can feel your back muscles moving when you're doing this movement. One more time. 5, 6. We're going to go up and down. So we're going to come up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. A couple more times. Now we're going to do the square. So we're going to go forward, up, back, down. Forward, up, back, down. Again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Shake it out, and then we're going to move into our circles. So the reason why I like to do the 4 corners is because when we do our circles, you want to make sure you're doing this full motion. Because sometimes we forget. If we go like, we might do the first part, but we will forget about the second part. So now that we know that there's these 4 corners, we're going to make it more of a fluid motion, and we're going to do a more of a fluid arcing motion. So it's not the exact same because we were doing a box before. Now we're doing a circle with all of our body. Okay, so now we're going to move into that. Ready? We're going to go very slow still, but we're going to do this oval motion with our shoulder. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I already did it way too fast. I'm going to do it slower. So ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Forward and up, back and down. I'm going to try it with counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we want to be really mindful with where our shoulder is going. We want to make sure that this top part isn't coming with us because we're not doing that yet. We're just doing this part here. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And one more time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Now we're going to move on to the other shoulder, and then we're going to combine what we just learned so we can distinguish between what we just did, the 2 different exercises that we just did. So here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you notice, I get a little excited. I go a little bit too fast. So I'm going to try to slow it down a little bit more. 5, 6, 7, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Shake it out. Now we're going to work on, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, roll, roll. We'll do one shoulder, but that's what we're going to work on so we can make sure that these are 2 different movements, but they connect in this shoulder movement way. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll count a little bit slower. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Forward, up, back, down, circle, circle. One more time. Forward, up, back, down, circle, circle. You should really be feeling it in your shoulders right now. This is a very, sorry. So we're gonna move on to this other side. 5, 6, 7, 8. Forward, up, back, down, circle, circle. 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 Shake it out. And let's move into some chest movements. So we did this as the warm-up, and I'm going to speak a little bit more about what you should be feeling when you're doing these types of movements. So to start, when we're going out, you're gonna pretend like someone punches you in your back and you're taking your shoulder blades and they're coming together. So they should be close to touching. So you're gonna come out and they're gonna come together slowly. Slowly. I like to put my hands on my hips because I can feel them coming together and my hands are stable. Because otherwise you could be doing this, and this is not the movement that we want. We want to make sure we're just isolating this top part. So if you want to put your hands here, if you want to put your hands here, just make sure your hands aren't moving and it's just your back. So when you go back, you should feel a neutral position. Then you should feel your shoulder blades coming together. Then you should feel them kind of coming apart when you go back. So we're gonna work on that. 5, 6, 7, 8. Forward, shoulder blades come together. Back, shoulder blades go apart. Forward, back. Forward, back. And I'm trying as much as I can to not move this along with it. It's gonna stay steady. And back. So the way that I do this is I take my butt and I squeeze it together so that it can't move like this. It's gonna stay stable. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we can also do the side. So I went over this again. We're taking our rib cage and we're going the side. We're not going like a tabletop. We're gonna keep everything nice and stable. And we're gonna do this only a couple times because we went over this a couple times in the beginning. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You should feel it in here. And now we're going to take our shoulder movements and our chest movements and put them together into a little drill. So we're going to take our shoulder, we're going to go back, puff our chest out, and bring it in. We're not going to do a full body movement yet. We're just going to do this. So we're going to step out, our shoulder, and as our shoulder comes up, our chest is going to go out. So here, and switch your feet. Step out, shoulder comes forward and up. Okay. We're going to take a step out with your left foot. You're going to send your shoulder forward. You're going to send your torso to your right corner, or I guess it's your left corner if you're facing this way. But I'm going to show you it from the front for now. So our weight is on our right foot, and our torso is facing towards one corner. We're not going to be facing forward or back, corner. Then our shoulder is going to come forward, up, chest is going to come up, and we're going to switch our weight and just reset. Ready? 5, 6, 7. I was already facing the other way, so I'm going to face forward, take a step out, send my shoulder forward, up, chest, switch. And when I say switch, I just mean switch your weight. So just put the weight onto your right or left foot. So I'll do it from the back. We're going to take a step out, shoulder, come up, and then switch. Switch, I mean just put your weight onto your left foot. Again, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you notice when I'm doing this movement, I'm taking my shoulder, as I take a step out, I send the shoulder forward. So I'm eliminating a step when instead of doing this, I'm doing this. So let's try that a couple times. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you feel more comfortable with it, you can make it more of a fluid and almost body roll. My arms I'm gonna keep on my body. I'm not gonna keep them out just yet because I want to know where they are. Once we get used to it, we can take our arms and do whatever. But right now, we're gonna keep them close to our body. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shake it out, and we're gonna try the other side. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna step out with our right foot, send our right shoulder forward. Torso is gonna face the left corner, and we're gonna come up and switch our weight down. 5, 6, 7, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. A little bit slower. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. So Jason was just saying sometimes I switch my weight and sometimes I don't. So I will try to be consistent and always switch my weight. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you're doing this, I want you guys to step out, breathe in, and my torso is facing the left wall, my shoulder is forward. So I'm gonna go 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you're breathing in and out. 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in and down. 2 more times. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just me. So Jason was pointing out that I have a wide stance, and that's just because I tend to take wider steps, but this movement would probably be better served. You can do it both ways with wide step or a shorter stance, whichever one you prefer. I am doing the wide stance because I naturally have a wider stance, but you can do it like this. Just make sure that when you do a shorter stance, the movement has to be a little bit stretched out longer onto your foot. So what I mean by that is because my stance is wider here, I'm milking more of my upper body and then switching. But when I have a shorter stance, I kind of have to do both and switch my weight like that. So here I'm showing more of my body, and here it's more of an up movement and down. So this one's like more of a horizontal plane, this one's like a up and down. Alright, that's all I got.
Okay, so that's pretty much Amanda's introduction to, I guess, a lot of upper body movement, and then finishing with some weight switching. The main ways you would use this would be mainly in bachata, if you're doing like a side step, and salsa can also be done as well. So what I'm going to focus on right now a little bit is going to be something a little bit more to the music itself. Let me just do a quick time check actually. 5. Okay. I'm gonna switch a bit. Okay. Okay, so now from here we're gonna go kind of like how to apply this now, starting with like some bachata stuff. Like we did in the beginning, like the most basic kind of beginner warm up, and then going into Amanda's more elastic kind of like fuller body movement, like opening and closing. In bachata, the main thing you can start emphasizing your isolation, making your movement more distinct. Is again simply with this rib cage, and she really explained how to do that as far as just a non-bachata style, but to kind of take that and put it into bachata itself. It's just first you got to understand where you're traveling, right? If you're going into the line dance version of it, it's just you transferring from one side to the other. So now as I'm doing the bachata, I may start to create a counter stretch to my center. 1, and I release. So I'm not really gonna go 1, 2, because then it will look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's not necessarily what I want to do. What I want to do is more like 1 and 1, 2 and 2. Meaning I'm gonna have like a little bit of a rhythm to it. 1 and ba. 1, 2, ba. 1, 2 and ba. So the main movement kind of comes from like this breathing that expands laterally, right, to your side. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and. So one really good way to drill this is just to kind of, as you go here, don't worry so much about getting to the side as much as it is about, again, that breathing, that expanding, and actually slightly bringing your torso, not just the shoulder, into a slightly above plane. Ascend, settle, ascend together, ascend, settle, ascend together, ascend, settle, ascend together, ascend, settle, ascend together, right? So then from there it starts to become more natural. So if I do it from the back side, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So that's just a very fundamental use of your rib cage isolation, right? So that's one start to that. Now from the next portion, let's say I'm going into, let's say like a stutter step. 1, 2, like more like a groove, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So now from here, I'm starting to add emphasis through my hips as well. I start letting this swivel. So I go here. 1, 2. So here, what I do with my hips is just pretty much step and then switch. 1, 2, 3. So I can do this in place. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and. So pretty much the order I would kind of do this in is 1, 2. So it's so like winding up, like a wind, a wind, a wind, ba, wind, 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 ba. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One last time from this side. So here it's pretty much starting with the toe going up to the hip and then going with the rib cage. And 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and. So that's overall starts expanding the distinction when you're moving, right? So then when you're doing a basic 1, 2, 3, 4 in place, I can emphasize more, and it's more felt even though the steps are smaller. And that's kind of one of the most basic ways to kind of expand on movement and make it distinct, right? Here, compared to maybe a more settled version as I'm traveling, because I already have the traveling going with it. So that's one practical way to start adding that into your bachata to start off with. Now, as you're going into things such as like a rolling up motion, right? So part of this is like one way you can use this in general through your dancing, as Amanda may have mentioned, is to kind of correct posture, to kind of just bring yourself into a more centered state. As far as your dancing, let's say I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So I can just do like a little up. Right? So it's for me how I see this is actually just 3 points, because it's 1, 2, and then settle. Because I'm not pulling it down. To do an actual real down, it would be this down. Right? What I'm doing is not really bringing it down. I'm just going up, slightly angled to the side, and then settle. Up, diagonal, boom. That's all I'm doing, right? I'm not doing this, because that would be a true up and down. So to make the distinction again with this is just 3 points of what I see. 1, 2, 3. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And you can do that going forward. It might make more sense going forward and back, because you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? And it might not really go too well with like a basic step. So this can go into what Amanda again was explaining with or was starting to get into with the weight switch here, going into this, right? Going into an opposite direction perhaps, right? Going here, right? But again, it's not just the shoulder that you're doing here, because you can go this all day and it won't be the desired movement. You can't have the shoulder movement without the torso movement. Just by moving the torso, your shoulder's already there. So the main majority of work has to be to your center. 1, right? If you do it at the same time, 1. That's it. You don't have to worry about your shoulder or anything else, right? And again, you don't really have to really put it forward as well, unless that's the stylistic distinction you want. You can add emphasis as a 1, right? Or more efficiently, because you're already rotating this movement itself. Otherwise, if you're pulling this back and you're throwing the shoulder forward, you're actually creating dissonance with your shoulder, right? You're actually creating a hunch to kind of better absorb that momentum, make it more efficient, more intuitive. As you go here, just go straight up. And that already goes into this movement, which is already integral to bachata. 1. Right? So that from here. So then from here, depending on where you have your rotation on your leg, if I have it really straight out, 1, it's going to really direct my movement in a certain manner. If I have it really inside, 1, 2, see, now because I really rotated in, it's going to send my body much more so this way. So keep in mind as you're doing your transfer that this is your blinker. Another thing too, as mentioned before, if you have a wide stance, you're going to go here 1, 2, 3, 4, or like for example, let's say you go 1, 2, 3, 4, you're still going to end up in a wide stance. Think about if that's really necessary in your dancing, right? If you have a stylistic reason for doing so, you may do so, but you gotta understand also it's gonna come at the cost of sharpness, at the cost of connection with the music and the partner you're dancing with, right? Especially when you're trying to do a big hit in the movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, and especially if you're not connecting your legs, you're gonna miss that connection to the music. So as far as bachata goes, if you're going 1, 2, 3 together, now I'm centered, which is my main goal with this, in my opinion, to really complete the weight shift and the shoulder up, because that's the whole point of going here, right? It doesn't have to be far. And again, the whole emphasis is to really show the vestibular movement, the tilt through the rib cage, right? Because here, right, this is me kind of just jostling my rib cage. This is me doing my shoulders. Slight distinction, but they are distinct movements. So if I were to emphasize the shoulder and go, you gotta put this forward and here, and you gotta make sure that this is at the same time, if not a little bit earlier than me going into this. 1 has to be like a snap, and 1, and 1, and 1, right? So this should be itself something that I'm practicing. Boom, boom, up and rotate, up and rotate, up and rotate. Now I'm not doing up and down, because that's a good way to actually hurt your shoulders as well. What you want to do is just breathe in as you lift, and then settle into the socket, settle into a socket, settle into the socket. So now this, as you start building fluidity through that movement, then you start adding sits, right, sitting down through the hip. As you're going into bachata, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So here, then you start seeing what clicks and what doesn't click. Right. If you end up going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2. You're like, I didn't step that 2. What happens now? 1, 2, 3, 4. You can absorb it almost like a slide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can do it like that. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So then you kind of look at yourself and say, like, am I doing more shoulder, or am I doing more rib cage? Am I doing more lats? So then from here, you can really have to really be honest with yourself and your feedback as you're doing, right? So here, for example, here, I know, for example, that I'm more stiff at the shoulder, so I got to put more emphasis onto what I'm doing here, into this breathing movement, and really using my lats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you start realizing how everything else connects to what you're doing. If you're doing the movement like this, you're doing the movement like this. So everything has to connect to each other, and the more you process through it. I think you can be like, okay, the breathing in, right? The exercise that Amanda went through with the shoulders. And the more you do it and the way you intend to do it, as the goal that you have, the more you're actually gonna do that. If you're practicing static movement, you're gonna get good at static movement, and you're not gonna develop further into your fluid movement. Yes, if you get better at this, it can translate because you're building the muscle, but you can't practice getting better at something you don't actually practice the thing you're doing. So the distinction has to be always consistent as possible. You have to be honest with what you're correcting, and you have to be sure to train in a manner that's very conscientious of what exactly that you're doing and in the manner you're doing so. Sometimes it makes me feel like you're just by doing things faster that you're doing the movement better. But then you have to consider, why is that? Is it because there's something else that you're not holding back when you're doing it faster, or is it something that comes easier? Is it, are you merely just throwing your weight around, right? And is that why it feels better, or is it because you actually have control in the movement that you're doing, and you're trying to actually bring that down, right? So there's a difference between going here, right? And that's the dancing that becomes your dancing. So as you build that movement, whether it's your 1, 2, 3, 4, you gotta try as much as possible, even if you start off going like this first, and then try to feel where you're feeling the tension. Okay, am I stiff here? Maybe I gotta roll back the shoulders. Okay, now I'm getting kind of stiff at the side. Maybe relax the elbows, the triceps. Okay, I'm kind of getting there. Maybe I need to breathe a bit more to kind of let it sway. Oh, okay, now I'm getting the sway. Maybe you want to add a little bit more of a bounce to it. Let me see how I'm doing with my feet. Maybe I make smaller steps. The wide stance is not working out because I'm losing bounce by making things wider. Okay, now I have it. See, so no, that's how one way you can build that movement, that basic movement, at least to the bachata basic, isolation through the torso, where you're going into this wind up. Right, but you see, like, okay, maybe I'm not truly landing on that left leg. So that's why, again, you have to be clear and honest with yourself. If you're gonna do this sway shift, are you actually shifting all the way, or are you shifting to just that leg and having that still be a wide stance, right? And if you're doing that, are you doing that intentionally, and is that gonna apply to your dancing the way you want it to apply? If you're trying to do this in a dance, and then you're landing halfway or kind of like this, and then you're going into a dip, you're gonna be like, how come it didn't work with that time when I did it? It's because you've been practicing that way. So you gotta make sure to go into the goal of what you're doing, right? If you're going to a cross, going into a sit, going into here and here into a switch, making sure you really are practicing those stances, those figures, right? And it will become easier to do it. You're gonna have off days and good days. You're gonna have days where your body's gonna kind of fight against you. But again, this is very much so getting into the, again, introductory phase of the nitty-gritty of what it is to practice these movements. And these movements will change depending on what you're doing with your body, whether you're tired, whether you've been treating your body well, whether you've been resting, whether you've been eating. So that's another crucial thing as well with whatever you're doing. You'll practice this intermittently through different parts of the day. I can almost guarantee that you're going to have better results than just doing this for 2 straight hours. Though the format of the classes that we're doing right now is an hour and a half, overall it's meant to be recorded and then replayed at your leisure so that you can revisit this as often as you want throughout the day. And again, the methods that we're doing are not perfect, right? But the concepts and the methodology is meant to steer you more thoroughly with a more of a sense of being accompanied and guided through the movements than just kind of just doing this on your own and kind of half guessing if that's really the intention of what you're doing with your own body, right? And also realizing that what your body does is going to be significantly different than what other people do, not just because of skill level, but also because body mechanics, not necessarily body type. It's about body mechanics, meaning how your body itself is accustomed to moving, how efficiently it can move to what it's accustomed to moving, and how well it can adapt its current infrastructure to the new movement. Because you may have, this down pat, and then because you have an old shoulder injury, you can't do certain other movements, or maybe harder to do so because you have scarring on your shoulder. So those are things to keep in mind when you're doing movement in general, and it's a part of, again, being conscientious on your movement you're doing and how you're practicing it and your intention, because that's going to be better for your overall training and also better for the overall things you're going to be building upon each other, right? So that way, being more consistent is going to lead you to that path. Okay. Do you have anything else you're going to go over? That's it for today? That's it for today? For you? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick time check here real quick. 1 hour. Okay, so I have a question here from Kevin. Good to see you, Kevin. It says, does your chest stay pointing to the corner at the very end? Okay, so I think that was from a while ago. I didn't get a notification about that, but as we go into this here, you don't have to, right? 1, 2, right? You can keep it here, right, at a slight angle. But what I suggest is always try to have a base. So the continuation again of what Amanda did, which is a switch and keeping it here, it's again a continuation, because from there it's very important to actually finish to whatever you're doing, whether it's salsa, bachata, zouk, or tango, whatever you're doing, right? So here, as I'm going into this, right, if I'm gonna lift, if I'm gonna push forward, if I'm gonna shrug double shoulder, I gotta choose that. Number 2, to answer your question directly, here, one option is to kind of just settle into this thing. And depending how you roll your foot, which I didn't roll there, that's why I got off balance. Rolling through the big toe is gonna leave me in a position that I can better control. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, facing you. And pass it on to Amanda.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you, I just showed you that first part so you could drill what we were doing with our body in the movement. But if I was to continue it, the way that I usually use this movement, I go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I kind of do a syncopated step with my feet, and then I roll my shoulders and then come to neutral. So for me personally, if I was to do that particular movement, I would face my body forward when I finish. But I don't have to do a syncopated step. I can do 1, 2, 3, 4. It can be level and equal. So we have 2 variations. We have, what did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have 1, 2, 3. I just did it the same way twice. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you have the syncopated step and a level step. That's how I would apply this shoulder movement. So to finish, you can finish either way. You can finish forward or to the side. It depends on your target. So who you're dancing with, how you're dancing it, the movement that you're trying to accomplish, all those things go into it. The music. Yes? Okay, so I'm gonna move on. We're gonna do some hips, and we're gonna do some drills with our hips. So like we did in the beginning, we did the forward and back, and we did side to side. And I'm gonna teach you guys the figure 8. We're gonna do that. Okay, so I'm gonna do the figure 8 movement. So how I like to teach this again is like we do the static with the 4 corners, and then we're gonna do this with the salsa. Like Jason wanted me to add that in there. So we're gonna connect this figure 8 movement to our salsa movement. So we're gonna start by doing 4 corners. And then we're gonna do the more fluid movement. So they're 2 separate movements, but I want with the 4 corners to realize that we're making sure that we're hitting each spot. We're not just going forward and forward. We're going forward, back, forward, back. Okay, so we're gonna start. I want you right now to just focus on your hips. Don't worry about your feet. Don't worry about your legs. We're gonna get to that. But for right now, I want to nail down our hips. So, our hip is gonna go forward, back, forward, back. When you guys do this movement, it's easiest to do it with your knees straight, because if your knees are bent, then you're gonna wanna get more into it, more of your body into it, and we wanna just isolate our hips. So I lied, we're gonna focus a little bit on our legs too. For right now, we're gonna keep our knees straight, send our left hip forward, and think of it as this is side, this is forward. So if there's 1, 2, 3, I'm going here. Go 1, then we can go back, 2, we're gonna go across and then forward, 3, and then we're gonna go back, 4. And we're gonna keep doing this movement. We're gonna go forward, so we're gonna go diagonal, forward, 1, back, 2, diagonal forward, 3, send our hip back, 4. So we're doing like almost like an hourglass type of static movement. We're gonna keep doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring your feet in a little bit if they get a little spread apart like mine did. We do 1, 2, 3, 4. And you wanna keep this nice and controlled. You don't really wanna throw your hips. You don't wanna go 1, 2, 3, 4. You wanna keep it 1, 2, 3, 4, but still have these distinct points of motion. So remember, our knees are straight, and we're just sending our hip forward, back, cross, forward, back, cross, forward, back. A couple more times. So now that we've got that, we can make the movement a little more fluid. So we're doing a very static, we're doing forward, back, but we're gonna try and do the same thing with the forward, back, but try to roll to your back motion. Instead of doing back, try to make it more of a rounded motion. So nice and slow, we're still doing forward, back, and forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. So we're doing, instead of we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're doing like an infinity sign. Instead of doing like a very, I don't know how to describe this, like a straight line, we're doing a curved line with our hip. So instead of going 1, 2, we're doing 1, 2. So instead of, it's fluid. Let's do that a couple times. 5, straight knees, 6, 7, 8. Forward, back, cross, forward, back, cross, forward, back, forward, back. Yeah, I'm gonna show it to you facing sideways. We're gonna go forward, back. Make sure that it's just your hips. My top part is not moving. This would be my top part moving. This is too much. We're just doing this right now. Forward, back, nice and slow. Make sure your knees are straight, because if your knees aren't straight, it's very hard to control this movement, as we are right now. Couple more times. Forward, back, forward, back. Also remember when you're doing it that you're coming across. You're not going straight, you're doing like a diagonal line with your hips. So we're doing forward, back, then we're doing a diagonal line, forward, back. Diagonal line, forward, back. I don't know what you mean. Okay, yeah. So Jason was just saying that that I'm switching my hips, so I'm doing my right hip. Okay. So we're gonna do, this is our right hip, left hip, then right hip. So our right hip is gonna go, our left hip is gonna go forward, back, then we're gonna switch, and our right hip is gonna do the circle motion. Across, left hip is gonna go circle motion, right hip is gonna do the circle motion. So keep rolling through it, and then we're gonna add the next element to this movement. So let's do it a little bit with the music, so we can get the feel of it. Can you turn up the music a little bit? I'll try it a little bit with the music. So then it's gonna be 1, 2, 3. Wait. Alright, that's good. So you just want to change it up, make it a little bit slower. I'm about shoulder width apart. Sometimes when you do this movement, your feet get spread out a little bit, so just remember to bring them back in. Because if you bring your feet out, the movement becomes this. You bring your feet in, the movement becomes solely, more so hip focused, rather than spreading out and making it too big. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, left, hip, right, hip, left, switch, right, switch, left, switch, right, switch. Keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, shake it out, and we're gonna add the next. Yeah, we're gonna add the step. So, just really quickly with our feet, we are used to using our feet, rolling through our feet. So we're gonna think about that, and we're gonna do a step called the cucaracha. So we're doing the figure 8 motion with steps. So we're gonna step out, and we're gonna send our left hip to the corner, to the left corner. I'm gonna go 1. As I send my left hip to the left corner, I'm sending my right hip back to the right corner. So I go 1, 2, 3, together, switch. So it's a little bit faster on the count. Okay. So we're just gonna do the one step instead of doing a switch. So we're gonna step out. Like this. What do you mean together or feet apart? Okay, so we're gonna take a step back, and before we do the step out to the side, we're gonna do a step with our feet in place. So we're gonna do this movement again, the figure 8 movement, but we're gonna use our feet through the floor, and we're gonna come up and down. I'll do that next. Okay. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna do this movement with our feet together. So we're gonna do the figure 8 with our feet together. So we're gonna have our left foot popped, just meaning that my ball of my foot is in the ground, my right foot is gonna be flat, I'm sorry. So we're gonna take a step onto our left foot, send our right hip up and back, switch. Now our right foot is popped, left foot is heavy, and our left hip is back and our right hip is ready to come up and around. So we're gonna step on it, up. As I step, my hip comes up, around, back down, and switch. So I'm doing this with my feet and this with my hips. Another thing that I'm doing with my hips is I'm sending them up, not out. So to do this movement, think up, not out. Think hip come up instead of coming out. So we're gonna try that. We're gonna have our left foot up, and we're gonna bring our left hip up, around, switch. Up, round, switch. Like that. Okay. So we're gonna take an actual step. So instead of just switching, we're gonna step around, bring it up, step, around. Ready? 5, 6, 7, starting with our left. We're gonna step, hip up and around, switch, and step, around, switch. Let's do it a little bit faster. 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, your hips are coming up. Use the floor and your foot to bring your movement and your hips around. Trying as best as you can to still make a circle with your hips. So making sure that when you're stepping, you're rolling through your foot and then switching, rolling through your foot. 5, 6, 7, starting with left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Cucaracha. So now we're going to move on to the movement that we were doing before called the cucaracha. So this is a distinct movement because we were just in place here, but now we're going to make this different and we're going to step to the side. And we're going to think that this movement is going to connect to our side step. So the side step is going to be different in salsa depending on how you decide to express that movement. But when you have the figure 8 motion, you have one way to do it. You can also do the side step in place without your hips. I'm still using my hips. Without your hips, you can do it with your hips to the side, or you can do it with your hips as a big figure 8 motion. 3 different movements. We're going to do this third. We're going to do the figure 8 dramatic one with our feet. So how we do this, we're going to step out with our left foot, send our hip to the left corner, switch our weight, come back, switch our weight, together, and switch. So again, we're going to step out, we're going to go forward, back. I'm now on my left foot. We're going to come back to my right foot, switch our weight, forward, together. Forward, back, together. So if we just do our feet, it's like a normal salsa step. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. Now when we add our hips, we're going to step out. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. The weight switch with your feet is very important when you're doing a cucaracha or you're doing a salsa step like this, because otherwise our hip is having nowhere to go. So I'm just going to call out the hips for you, forward, back, and I'll do the foot motion for you guys. 5, 6, 7, go. 1, 2, 3. Switch. 1, 2, 3. Switch. Forward, back. Okay. So with the salsa step, it's going to look like this. And as you see, my style of my knees changed also. I'm bending my knees more. And that's what we're going to do. Sometimes I forget I do more ballroom. So Jason reminded me to make sure that I'm doing salsa. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to bend my knees, still send my hips forward and back, just making sure that my movement's a little bit different because I'm doing more salsa movement. The other movement's not wrong, it's just we're going to try to stick closer to salsa, true salsa movement. So we're going to do left forward, left back, right forward, right back. We're going to do our feet, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Ready? 5, 6, 7, go. 1, 2, switch. 1, 2, switch. A little bit fast. Maybe we should slow it down a little bit. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So use the music or no? Use the music or no? Use the music or no? Okay, so Jason was just saying that we should stick to one rhythm, so let's just use the music so we can be clear on what we're doing. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Forward, back, switch. Forward, back, switch. Forward, back, switch. Forward, back, switch. 5, 6, 7, go. 1, 2, switch. 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so just a review of what we just did. We just did the figure 8 motion with our feet apart. So just a quick review. We did forward, 2, 3, 4. Forward, back, forward, back. When we did this specific motion, we kept our knees straight and we sent our hips forward, back, forward, back. The second movement we just did, we had our feet together and we had one leg popped. We send our hip up and switch. Step, switch. So we're still doing this figure 8 motion, just a very small, much smaller than the one that we had been doing. Swing left, right, step left, step right. And then lastly, we just did the salsa step, side step, with our hips. So we just did 1, 2, 3, switch. 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, switch. 5, 6, 7. Rolling through my feet, bending my knees, and making sure to groove with the salsa music. So we're going to do all three together. I'm going to call them out. So we're going to do the figure 8 motion first. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to switch into the feet together one. We're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Into the normal salsa step. 7, go. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Back into the figure 8 motion. 7, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Into the together motion. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the salsa step. 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I see what you're saying. So we're gonna do the last one a little bit slower so we can keep them all on the same count. 5, 6, 7. So much slower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time. And then one last time, all 3 of them again. So we're going to do the figure 8, the together, and then the salsa step. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Going into the together. 1, 2, 3. 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6. Salsa step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more time. And then that's it.
Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for tonight's class. Again, so tonight's class was about an hour and a half long. Next Tuesday's class will also be about an hour and a half long. This is just meant to be an introductory, like mini series into kind of the most basic fundamentals of like, again, some body movements, some isolations, and then how that goes into salsa bachata, going into some styling as well. Again, we're still working on the program. Amanda has a set of moves and different body movements she's working on to develop to teach you guys. Because again, if you are familiar with her choreography, she likes to do a lot of things with body movement and different changes in rhythm. Whereas I myself try to kind of make things a bit more just focus on like the style itself to kind of really make it simple and but also making it a holistic type of overview so you can translate those movements into whatever style you want. So again, thank you guys for your patience. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I know last week we had some technical issues, mainly because of the Facebook copyright with the music. Note to self for all of you, do not play Prince Royce music on your streams or any video you're recording because I guess Facebook really doesn't like that. But I guess they're okay with some other music. I played some different music today for the warm-ups. So it's a little bit, again, a change of pace. It's not fully salsa bachata like our previous classes. It's not meant to be. Gonna try out this format for this week and next week, and then we'll see how we continue on for the month of July. Again, I appreciate you all who have been checking in on the events that have been happening over the past few months. Some of you, again, thank you for understanding with us taking a break in support of the different things that are happening in our communities and throughout the nation. I proudly support the Black Lives Matter movement and the things that are happening within our state of Connecticut because we understand that issues are all connected. Thank you those of you who's also joined me in donating money towards the CT Bell Fund, Semilla New Haven, Food Garage, and other organizations as well to help our local community. I have been trying to get more involved again with my local community, seeing how this is pretty much been like a wake-up call to kind of reconnect to what is around us and understanding that even during these hard times, this is what we really have, the people that perhaps are in our peripherals but can be taken for granted. So thank you those of you who have been donating to me personally, to Amanda, to Baila Con Gusto as far as music and art and dancing goes, and also those of you who also donate to other causes that are worthy of you to preserve, or things that are heartfelt and personal to you guys. So I encourage you guys to again stay positive, stay tuned. As of right now, I have chosen to not go into in-person group classes, mainly because I feel like it's a bit too exclusive. The way it's kind of being organized, I feel like a lot of studios are making this thing where they're charging more for a much less experience, to be honest. And it's honestly what ends up happening is that a lot of these classes end up being taken up by people who, to be frank, are more readily and easily able to access, premium classes. People who have always never who have never had an issue, enjoying dance. Whereas I try to really put a focus on trying to create accessibility to people who don't necessarily have the money, the time, the resources, or even the access, like just experience to try dancing. Who may even have like the courage per se. And so I personally just feel like it's a bit too soon. I'd rather offer something that's a bit more towards what we've been used to with like the full experience without having to worry so much about getting sick or having to, you know, be hypocritical about, giving a full experience when we all know it's not the real full experience that we used to. However, in relation to that, I am offering in-person private lessons limited to 2 people max per lesson. I have been doing it throughout this time, again, to be honest and transparent. And since the beginning, I've been using sanitation measures that have been advised by the CDC, masks, gloves, making sure that all my students and myself are up to date on what our hygiene and what we're taking care of for ourselves. And it's been pretty steady so far. So thank you guys for those who have been supporting through the in-person classes. For those of you who have bought classes again back in March for the group classes, I'm going to be sending out a announcement to all of you soon, either within this week or next week. So to kind of check in on you and see if you guys want to continue holding out for the group classes that will most likely come by the end of summer, beginning of fall. That's where I believe will be more comfortable to do the classes, as far as like making the classes more what it should be. I don't feel good about charging money for a group class, understanding that we're all going to be fearful about what's happening, or that we're all going to be acting weird, or that it's going to be limited, or everyone's going to be distant or restricted to like just one partner. I feel like is a disservice, isn't it? Just not what people really want to spend their money on. I know a lot of people are willing to spend money on it, but I don't think it's what I want to connect myself to. But that being said, I will also offer to people who have bought packages or the group classes, the discount ones too, they can trade them in for private lessons, or whether that's online private lessons through Zoom or through in-person private lessons as well. Because again, some people have been getting more comfortable with their new routine. They have been practicing really safe, sanitation and quarantining, and people are more open to it. Again, I leave the choice up to everyone who wants to participate. So thank you, all of you, for your patience, for your understanding through this transition within transition, for letting us try out our new classes with you guys. We're still learning how to kind of bring this full focus content to you. Me and Amanda have gotten into discussions about this class course, and if it's really gonna make a difference for you guys to be doing it like this, because we tried a Zoom class and it was beneficial, but there wasn't as much of a demand with it. And with the group classes that we're doing like this, where you can watch it on your own, they seem to be more steady. And so we're making a compromise on this part to kind of do these classes, understanding that it's not the full service that you would expect, but still trying to pass on information. And then from those of you who do watch these classes and do want to follow up, we can do Zoom classes with you online. You could book myself or Amanda, contact either of us directly, because we do have different schedules, but I can let her know as well if you want to contact her directly for a Zoom class. I'm sure she'll be happy to do that. I am personally open to private lessons. Amanda, I don't think she's open to that at the moment. I'm able to do traveling, stuff like that. I wouldn't recommend to go out again full-fledged into a full dancing environment without self-protection. But again, it's up to you. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. So stay tuned for our classes. Thank you for donating at the links above. Thank you for those of you who have been donated to the other causes that I donated to throughout the break, the past 2-3 weeks actually. And thank you for your patience through all this. So have a great evening. Let me know if you have any more questions, and we're signing off.